Hey everyone, and welcome back to lucky number 13 episode of Boosted or Busted, the series that aims to answer the question, should I level up a toon the old-fashioned way or use WoW Gold to skip that pain? Before I get into this week's video, I need your help. 2 weeks ago I submitted a short video auditioning for Want to Buy Gold's channel as a content creator, and now he has a video out with a roundup of all the contest entries with a poll as to who his audience likes the best. I'll have a link at the end of the video and in my description. If you like my content and think I should win, I need as many votes as I can get. My content on this channel won't be going anywhere. Of course, I would appreciate your vote if you think me gaining greater exposure is a good thing. Just to take a minute to recognize Reckles and his community, the folks over at Want to Buy Gold are just great people. So give his channel a follow if you haven't already. Alright, so on to the content. We have some pretty great strategies this week to talk about. It has been a pretty interesting week for me. I plan to do some number crunching on herbalism this week, but a new interesting opportunity presented itself, and it's been fairly common throughout the course of this series. There's this one person on my server that is flooding the AH with Spirit of Harmony, and tanking the prices of a fairly consistent source of gold for me. No doubt many of you experienced this in the past. After my updates, I'm going to talk about how I'm dealing with this current situation, give you a few tips on how you might deal with similar situations you face in the future. Also this week, I made gold on a very cool item that you'd think would normally only sell on an RP realm. I sold it for a pretty good sum of money, so I'm excited for you to hear about it. Lastly, having grinded out to get my legendary boots, I'm officially started on my speed set. These bad boys are just sexy. Alright, let's start the week with my busted character and how he fared in the wonderful land of Draenor. So Draenor gets a bad rap for some good reasons, but I had fun questing and flying around looking for various treasures. Shout out again to the creators of Azeroth Autopilot, who provides the most ideal route if you have flying. In 5 hours, I managed to level 6 times and gained a healthy amount of raw gold at 7k. Without much effort at all, I made it more than halfway through the tier and should be able to wrap up Draenor by next week's episode. Of course, this week I continued to make gold on pets on the AH, as I made 4,373 gold on a ravenous prideling. For Transmog, I flipped these red winter clothes. I bought them for 10 gold and sold them for 1,220 gold. That's 122 times what I spent originally. I also sold this Garmal waistband, which is part of the Frostscale binding set, for 930 gold. And on top of that, sold various Kata and Draenor materials. I ended the week having made about 8,200 gold on the AH, and sit currently at 71,806 gold on this toon. Let's take a look at how my boosted toon did this week. So I teased off the top that I sold a really cool item, so let's start this week's update with that. I managed to get this to drop out of Nomergon sometime back, and it's a common item. You can tell it's a common item because of the white writing. The item I sold is this vest called Dark Iron Leather, and it's sold for 9,500 gold. It's a rare drop, and only drops from the Dark Iron Ambassador or Dark Iron Agent at 1% and 3% respectively. I got this in my first few weeks of the series and therefore posted it about 70 times before it finally sold. So here's the thing, if a piece of common armor drops, take a look at the model and the gold that it's worth, and just post it. It costs pennies, and you never know what might sell. Often people like to equip their bank toons with cool looking armor, and it doesn't even matter if you're not on an RP server. I also sold this cool looking mace called the Spirit Clad Mace for 631 gold, and 2 more of the Panda Pets for 5,727 gold. Overall for this week I made about 32k on the AH, and therefore sit at 466k gold. I mentioned that there was a person on my server tanking the Spirits of Harmony market, so I made a bit of an investment this week to make the best of that reality. So I'm going to talk you through what I did to deal with this situation by going through some data with you and also some of my strategies that I used based on the data that I was learning from. Okay, so I'm on the Undermine Journal, and I use this website a lot in order to figure out what I'm going to do as far as flipping especially. So you can see currently there's 2,600 Spirits of Harmony on the AH on my server Stormreaver, and the price is 143 gold, which is about 25 gold lower than the US median price, which is kind of shows you that the price is tanking a little bit. And I'll tell you why. So if we look at recent history, that's the first thing I do when I consider, do I buy? What do I do about the current situation that I'm experiencing? So if you take a look at this graph here, you have in blue the price of Spirits of Harmony at that point, the market price, and the quantity is in red. So as you might expect, there is some correlation generally between the price and the quantity that are available on the AH. So as more appear on the AH, the I guess the lower the prices. Now that's not always 100%, but that's generally a understood practice within things, supply and demand basically. So if we take a look at the current scenario, it's really around here that I decided that I was going to do something about Spirits of Harmony. So I believe around here, last Sunday, I ended up investing 20k gold to buy 200 of these Spirits of Harmony. And I'll tell you what I kind of did with them, but effectively it's interesting. They dropped even further below that at 65 gold drop per like between the median price and the price on the server. I really didn't believe that it was going to go down any further, but as you can see, it went down to 85 gold on Monday, May the 6th, and then again it did that this weekend. So basically that's the first thing I look at is this an isolated incident or has it happened before? I can really see 2 weeks is a weird, it's a small sample size to be looking at. So you can also see kind of from here a whole year worth of data on that. And you can see that the sheer amount of volume that went on has not been seen since way back in October of last year. And effectively, what had happened is there was one particular individual that posted up 16 stacks of Spirits of Harmony at very, very low prices, of course. That was at the 100 when I saw it. And you can see that basically everything gets impacted by that. So the last 2 weeks here have been crazy with the sheer amount that's on the AH. The other thing that you can see on this website is you can actually dig into who the people that are posting these at. This was the individual that was posting that many for that price, I believe. They had them down as 85, far as 85 gold this week. So I use this website first off to decide what I should do to deal with a particular situation. So let me talk to you about this Excel spreadsheet that I've created. You can see on the left hand side I've got my sales table, so this is what I've sold so far, and as well I've got a table with all of the different benchmarks based on data that I collected and current pricing. So you can also see here my projected profits so far. And I'm going to put up on screen where you can purchase white trillium ore all the way to ethereal shard here. And as well, keep in mind that the rice flour, black pepper, and 100-year soy sauce are actually purchased with iron paw tokens, which you get out of the Valley of Four Winds. So I'll have a screenshot for that here. So if we look at the benchmark table, you can see that I've sorted things according to the value per item that you would expect, or sorry, the total value that you would expect out of things. So you can see evidently rice flour, black pepper, and 100-year soy sauce are the items that carry the highest value. What I also did was to create some notes according to each one. So things with lower sell rates, you don't want to purchase quite as many of. Things that are stable are things that hold their value quite well. But then there's also some markets that are a little bit more volatile, where a lot of different people farm them and their prices tend to fluctuate quite a bit. So obviously, more rare goods where people don't understand that you can do things like this, they become more stable just because less people will actually farm them. Things like Ghost Iron ore have a big swing to them. I've seen them as low as 7 gold a piece and as high as 15 gold a piece. So it's much more dependent on the timing for those ones. Now you can see there are also things in here that I've listed that you just don't want to use or don't want to purchase. So the Serpent's Eye are a good example. I've actually purchased a few of them, but they seem to be holding at about 100 gold, so they're really not the best option for you. The exotic leather, Kipperite, all of these ones here are basically worthless, and that's because they're what you're going to get by selling them, especially things like the ethereal shard, is basically nothing. You're going to lose money on those items. So you want to tend to take a look at the items that are have a really good sell rate and tend to be something that's a little bit more stable in prices. So I'm going to show you a little thing that I noticed. So this is what I've sold. I have sold instantly these mysterious essences. I only made about 42% on those. And Ghost Iron ore I also sold right away, but it was only about a 21% markup. That is not very good. That's really not what you want to target with something like this. What I'm starting to look at this is 200 is a longer term investment, and black trillium and white trillium will probably be the main things that I target. Ghost Iron ore I will probably keep a couple of stacks in case there is a really good price, but I won't be posting those every day because you end up with something like this. I only made 422 gold, and I spent 20 Spirits of Harmony for this small amount of gold, which is not what you're looking for. So you can see that the black trillium ore and white trillium ore and these two other minor sales, I ended up with a projected profit, if I kept up on that pace, of 9,800 gold profit from those farms. So if I quickly delete the data for these two sales here, which were a little lackluster, you'll see my results go from 9,800 gold to 31,000 gold. So honestly, I'm going to probably focus mostly on the white trillium and the black trillium, but as well I'll see if I can throw some of this sales in there. If the person continues to post at 85 gold per Spirits of Harmony, and I'm able to continue to get just solid profit with this, then I'll consider buying more as we go throughout this. So just as a quick wrap up, I just want to talk about how I choose to deal with my competitors. So these are the things that you should check when you are going to compete with somebody who is selling at really rock bottom prices. So is this a first time opportunity, or is it a repeated behavior? So I went on to Undermine Journal. I looked to see if people are continuing to do this, if people are always posting things at a lower price. Then you can learn from that and you can capitalize on that. How can you compete? So this is different for everybody. It really depends on a lot of items. But if you look at something like Spirits of Harmony, it's not just about putting it lower, dropping it to 99 gold or 84 gold. You want to make sure that you're getting the most out of the farming and the amount of effort that you're putting into the game every day. What can you do with the material? So for me, my appetite to buy more might have been higher if I had more crafting type professions, things that would allow me to diversify the way that I make gold. Right now, I have not put any professions in, but I know in the coming weeks I'm going to be switching this guy's professions a little bit. I'll have a video on what I've done in order to prepare for that. But basically that's what you want to do. You want to figure out, what all can I do with Spirits of Harmony? Is it just pure flipping those materials, or can I purchase materials with it, or can I craft with it? So all of those things you should consider. And lastly, how much capital are you willing to contribute to win? So if you have 320,000 gold sitting around and you really just don't want to deal with this person, you could technically put all that money in there. But for me, it was not worth it to put all my eggs in one basket. You need to only invest. A good rule of thumb is kind of like an 80-20 rule, but it's more even a 90-10. So I would never really take more than about 10% of my gold and invest it in anything. Made that mistake early on, and I would really advise against it. Thank you so much for watching my videos from week to week. I've got a link here to Want to Buy Gold's channel if you want to vote for my video. And I hope you have an excellent week. Until next time, all, thanks so much for watching.